These are my financial interests. I work with these companies and universities. When you look at ray tracing today, we only look at one or two companies who are into this. But what is the work which I'm doing in the interest of time, so I'll reduce it drastically. There's a company which, that's why I put David as the picture here, because this comes from the same place where Michelangelo sculpted his David. So basically it works on PRKs, post-iVis, corneal irregularities, keratoconus, and many other areas. So the whole concept is about the data acquisition, which I will discuss with you here. And the PRK is your profile, because it's a machine. It's like any other topoguided machine, but it's more advanced in terms of how it gets its response. And what's interesting here from a biologist is that it's biologically less aggressive on the corneal tissue, and that's why it works on many other areas of healing. So how does it collect the data? That's a very important thing, and we are not used to collecting the data from every layer of your cornea, because at the end of it, topoguided treatment is every layer how you collect, and then you do the modeling. So every layer means every corneal layer, starting with how it looks at the tear film, it starts looking at the collection, and it has its own ambrometer called precision, where it looks at checking the different forms of corneal power. For example, it makes a refractive map of your epithelium, then it goes to the stroma, then it goes to the posterior stroma, then you go to the total corneas, and everything else. So why is it important is that your refractive error correction starts from how you remodel epithelium itself. And the second important thing is the entire optical zone is based on the P matrix, which is pupillometrics. So this is very important. It's not just you take a factor of pupil from a pentacam and do it. You are taking it from a P matrix, which takes at 6 different lighting conditions what you see in your daily life. Example, you are in a restaurant, or you are in a plane, or you are sitting in a car, or you are in a bright light like this. What is your pupil? And then it gives you a pupillometry, mean pupillometry, which pupil itself takes around 3 to 4 minutes. Here. And then the ablation profile is not the profile we see, one big 6 millimeter, 7 millimeter zone. It's based on how your pupil is, because based on the Stiles Crawford law, what is in the periphery of your edge of your pupil is not important. For you, it's your central pupil zone, mean pupil size, where you need light beams to go. So how does it work? It's the diagnostics, and then this is how it treats. You can see the ablation profile. It looks vague. And look at the ablation, it is not the same. Because it's taken the epithelial profile, your ablation changes every microns level. In this, for example, there's an 18 microns here, next to that is 14. Why? It has sculpted the cornea. It's like Michelangelo sculpting every layer of your cornea, of your marble. It's not like you just take a block and just sculpt something. Then it fine-tunes it. This is amazing. This is my 1,000+ eyes in the last 1.5 years. It can really make your keratoconus disappear. For example, all these cases are keratoconus, and I'm 1.5 years now with these technologies. And these are all the refractive errors which had into it. And this is how it is. And what is exciting for me is, it works so beautifully on the pellucid. Imagine giving a pellucid patient from +7.4 or +2, -7 to around -2, and 20/20 with the glasses. And it doesn't do much. It opens up this area. It opens up your pupil zone. It just opens up enough for the light to pass through and make the pupil zone regular. It has an inbuilt cross-linking. That means you don't need to have a cross-linker. After you do the laser, you press the button cross-linking. If one more machine doesn't come in, inside, the laser moves out and the cross-linking machine comes in. And you don't need to calculate the depth. The machine automatically does by the Mazzato protocol. Look at this. You give different, for example, it's 3 jaws, 3.7, 3.2, where the cone is, it focuses it. So it has already taken into account after epithelium, how is the stromal thickness post-surgery, and it manipulates that. Amazingly smart thinking. It's been there for many years. The person who designed this is very complicated in his knowledge. So for his knowledge to reach you, it takes a lot of time, and that's, I think, one of the reasons why it is going slow, because it's too much of intelligent planning out here. What's interesting for me as a biologist is it's a very calm laser. I'm not saying it's not a cold laser. Every laser has to have heat. It does less on the myofibroblast. It works less on the wound healing, and because the spot and other sizes are different, and that's when we both started working together, the person and me. Because if you look at the densitometry, when you do PRKs, high level of PRKs, you will use less of myofibroblast. I have all the PRK machines, and you can see that it is less of an action on the myofibroblast. So we did some eyeball studies, and in the interest of time, these are all the genetic markers. We use multiple different machines which uses lasers or PRK. We also use this as a contralateral one. And what's interesting is this. Your major scar formers are TGF-beta, which is much less compared to the other PRKs. And it also has less of extracellular remodeling proteins and other things, which makes it calmer biologically. So it also has a scar removal protocol, which this is how it does. A complete look at this is one of the scars, which is like this, and you can see that post-op it just manipulate. This is the difference map, and which is just around few microns changes. So it has, you can see from here, more regular scarring out here. So it's a future. What I see is it's inbuilt crosslinkers, irregular corneas, PRKs, which is very, very advanced, higher level of PRK correction, customized approach, and biology first protocols. Thank you.